All right. What is good, my future millionaires and secret billionaires? It is your favorite 25-year-old financial wizard here, ready to drop some truth bombs. That'll probably ruffle a few feathers. I am talking about the kind of truth that most so-called experts wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, especially because it goes against everything they've ever told you. Many of you, my dear friends, my digital comrades, you hit me up, right? You slide into my DMs, you comment under my videos, you are all like, yo, what is the secret? How did you do it? What is the magic sauce to getting rich? And every single time, I tell you the honest, to goodness truth, and guess what? Nobody believes me. Nobody. They think I am holding something back. They think I am just being humble, or worse, that I am trying to gatekeep some profound knowledge. But I promise you, the real secret, the actual cheat code to financial freedom, is so counterintuitive, so deceptively simple, that it is easy to dismiss. Today, we're talking about being a nobody. Yeah, you heard me, being unknown, being at ground zero, having no reputation, no track record, no social proof. Guess what? That, my friends, is your biggest, most potent, most undervalued asset in the entire game of wealth creation. And if you learn to wield it properly, you are going to leave so many established players in the dust. It is not even funny. My only goal for this entire video, is to just nudge your perspective just a millimeter, especially if you are out there just starting, especially if you are dabbling in business, trying to launch something. You guys who are taking the plunge, hats off. Seriously, mad respect for stepping into the arena. I've been there. I know exactly what it is like to be at rock bottom, wondering if anyone will ever take you seriously. But what I want you to truly understand, deep in your bones, is why starting from absolutely nothing has some monumental advantages over people who are already multimillionaires, even billionaires. Let's dive in. This whole idea, this epiphany, actually sparked from a consultation call I had recently, and for those who know me, I am trying to take fewer and fewer cons. Alt calls these days, your boy's busy hyperscaling, you know the drill. But this one stuck with me. I want you to imagine a huge, lumbering Boeing 747 versus a sleek, nimble private jet. Hold that thought. It'll make sense in a second. So I was on this call, and this guy, a complete beginner, was telling me all the reasons he couldn't get clients. He was lamenting about how I had all these advantages, my established agency, my glowing case studies, blah, blah, blah. And I am sitting there, listening. And yeah, from a macro perspective, he is not entirely wrong. Of course, you need case studies to scale, to be perceived as an expert, to build a thriving business. That is business 101, but here's the kicker. Here's what he completely missed. My entire business identity, my entire brand is inextricably tied to the real estate niche. Like if tomorrow I woke up and decided, you know what, I am going to pivot. I am going to start targeting insurance companies, or car dealerships, or lawyers. I literally physically can't. Prospects would look at my website, my social media, my case studies, everything screams real estate king. And they'd be like, what in the world are you talking about? Why would I trust you with my auto repair shop if all you've ever done is sell houses? They'd look at me like I have 3 heads, right? But this guy, this ground zero hero, I told him, dude, you don't even realize the golden ticket you are holding. Nobody knows who you are, man. You don't have a niche. You barely even know what service you want to offer yet. And that, my friend, is pure unadulterated power. You can secretly test every single thing under the sun. Every niche that tickles your fancy, every offer, every type of service that I, with my established brand, can't even dream of touching without causing a brand meltdown. Well, you could just start a new business, he countered. And I looked at him and said, brother, exactly. But guess what? Then I'd be at ground zero too, right? Sure, I might have more capital, but if you strip that away, if we're talking about raw entrepreneurial spirit and flexibility, we are on the exact same freaking level. He can pivot. He can switch lanes. He can reinvent himself on a whim, in a snap of his fingers, if something doesn't work out. That is the Boeing 747 versus the private jet. Et analogy, I am in the big, heavy, established Boeing. Yeah, I can carry more passengers. I can fly further, probably make more money per flight. But you, in your private jet, you can go anywhere. You are nimble. You are agile. You can adapt to any turbulence, any change in direction, anywhere in the darn world. And in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, that agility, that unburdened freedom, is everything. It is the ultimate competitive advantage. I am not sure he fully grasped it at the moment, but by the end of that call, even I was like, damn, these are some solid points. It was almost mind-opening for myself just thinking about it. So before we go any deeper, I want to hit you with 2 undeniable truths, 2 foundational pillars, Wone, every single person, including your boy right here, started from somewhere. You can't just count yourself out because you don't have the track record, you don't have the case studies, you don't have the reputation. I didn't have any of that either. And yeah, sure, there are people born with silver spoons in their mouths. But for the vast majority of us, we started with absolutely nothing, just like you. So lose the excuse a second. Every single position in business has an advantage, even being the underdog. In fact, in my humble opinion, especially right now, being the underdog is where the real magic happens. Look at AI, for example. We are so incredibly new into this AI revolution that even if you start 6 months from now, versus people who started a year and a half ago, it doesn't really matter. As long as you just get on the freaking train, you are going to be absolutely fine. You are going to be riding that wave. So if you are watching this thinking, nobody knows who I am, I have no credibility, no social proof, congratulations, my friend. You just identified your biggest piece of leverage, your secret weapon, your entrepreneurial superpower. The question isn't whether you have advantages. The question is, are you smart enough, self-aware enough, and ruthless enough to actually recognize them, to exploit them, to wield them like a sword? Think about that for a second. Now, let's talk about the first massive advantage, the core benefit of being unknown, and that is complete, unadulterated freedom to experiment, unlimited at-bats, right? When nobody knows who you are, you can pivot, you can rebrand, you can completely change your name, your direction, your entire business model without any public scrutiny, without any prying eyeballs, without anyone even batting an eyelash. And you know what I can't do? I can't suddenly start posting about freaking crypto without people questioning my entire expertise in real estate. I can't pivot to e-commerce without confusing my entire customer base. It just doesn't work that way. But you, my friend, you can test real estate marketing this month. You can try software development the next month. You can dive deep into AI services the month after that. Your nailed attempts, your missteps, they don't follow you around because, dude, there is no digital footprint to haunt you. There is no established brand to protect. It doesn't matter. You can pivot. You get to define your narrative from scratch. There are no preconceived notions about what you should be doing or what kind of content you should be creating. It truly doesn't matter. There is no audience you have to appease. This is the entrepreneurial equivalent of being able to take a million swings at the plate with nobody keeping score. And trust me, in business, you need to take multiple swings to even figure out what works in the first place. So you may as well just go for it, right? Moving on, here is an interesting tidbit about human psychology. People are actually drawn to genuine, unpolished, humble beginnings in a way, more than they are to corporate personas, more than they are to someone who has already made it. And yeah, sometimes I try to be relatable in my videos, but I've gotten comments before, people saying, dude, it is kind of hard to relate to you. I relate more to this other creator because he is more on my level. And guess what? They're absolutely right. There is no right or wrong answer there. I believe in the three trios. Always. Find someone who is well above you, who inspires you. Find someone near or at your level who you can grow with. And then find someone below you, someone you can mentor, someone you can genuinely help. And that feels good. But here's the thing. People love following someone who is just starting their journey. This is literally brand scaling in action. Look at how massive some of these creators' followings are now, who just started documenting their process. They want to be a part of your come up. They want to be a part of your story, especially when you are almost unknown and low-key. You can be vulnerable about what you are struggling with without damaging some huge reputation that says you are a multi-millionaire who never has bad days. It is like, dude, everyone has bad days. I've been struggling a lot behind the scenes with some personal stuff. Everyone goes through things, and I am trying to be more vulnerable myself. So trust me, being unknown actually creates intrigue and mystery that works entirely in your face. It just does. Honestly, I love finding out about underdogs in business more than I do about established billionaires at this point. Or even better, hidden billionaires. That is so fascinating to me. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about two people where I was like, where did this guy even come from? This guy's worth $6.5 billion, and I've never heard his name before, and there are hundreds of people like that, right? So when you have people watching you, they start expecting more, they start critiquing your every move. They start watching you like a hawk, dude, whether you like it or not. Customers, employees, family members, friends, I promise you, they are watching. But right now, you get the benefit of the doubt and the excitement of pure, untapped potential. Wow, that guy's ambitious. That guy looks cool. This is awesome, right? Use it to your advantage. Seriously, use it. Which brings me to the next point. You have a low-pressure testing area, an environment, whatever the hell you want to call it. I want to talk about pressure for a second when you are established. Every single move is scrutinized. Think of public companies. Every piece of content is analyzed. Every business decision is dissected by competitors, your customers, your employees. But nobody knows who you are. You are operating in a very low-pressure environment. It is just you versus you. Dude, that is it. You can test different content styles, different voices, different niches, without disappointing anyone watching, because nobody's watching, it doesn't exist. So, I am telling you, criticism stings a lot less when it is not attached to an identity that you've already meticulously built up. Which, again, there are a lot of pros to having an audience. But the big con is not being able to shift on a dime. Wilm and we talk about this all the time. Of course, we want to make videos that perform well for the algorithm. But dude, we both talk about those times where we would just post whatever we truly wanted to post. And I am not saying I don't want to post these videos. I love every single video that I post. But of course, there are some moments, some options where I am like, man, am I really making this video because I genuinely want to, or am I making this video because I just want a nice little spike in views? I have those moments once every couple of months, and I'll be fully transparent about that. But I know in my core, I should just do what I want. And that is what someone at ground zero can do. They can always do what they want because they don't have that audience weighing them down yet. So again, you can make mistakes, you can iterate incredibly quickly, and the beautiful thing, the truly beautiful thing, is once you just find what works, that becomes your quote-unquote origin story that people love, that people relate to. So it is a win all the way around going into the next point. You have strategic flexibility and a lot more market intelligence. Honestly, like what it really gets interesting. When nobody knows who you are, you have strategic flexibility. You can study what works for others, the big players, the established gurus, and adapt it without being called a copycat. You know, I can't suddenly start using the same video ideas as my competitors without people noticing. People will call it out. I even got called the Dan Coe of the gaming world once, which I actually loved. He wasn't saying it as a hate comment or anything, but it made me think for a second. I was like, damn, I am not trying to copy him. I want to make up my own style, but you do have to replicate what works. And that is a kind of scrutiny. It is good scrutiny, but it is scrutiny nonetheless. But you, as a beginner, you can model successful businesses across multiple industries and just cherry pick the best strategies. You can collaborate with anyone without worrying about brand alignment or testing partnerships. You can test different ventures, you can do anything, and plus, your competition changes over time. So the people who seem absolutely unreachable today might be your literal friends or peers tomorrow. So the key is this. While they're comfortable in their established position,